Hey, what's up YouTube, it's Maple Storia. Welcome back to a very special video where I bring you the latest updates about Shadow Fight 3 developments. Now before we get into this video, I would like to appeal to you to check out my channel, and if you haven't already, just subscribe over here and click it, it's free. And also, if you are interested, you can click on this link in the top right hand corner and you'll be brought to my Instagram page. Over here, I have some real life updates for you guys and just general fun photos and more about myself, so if you're interested in that, do check it out. Now without further ado, let's proceed into the update video. Now I'm very excited to bring this to you today because there are some major developments in the game today, and I would like to give a shout out to Vasya Shadow, who has notified me of this update. Now let's take a look at what Vasya has sent me. He has actually sent me a link to this Sketchfab webpage. Now as you can see, it is the Neki 3D Forge's official webpage and it is based in Moscow, Russia, so it looks pretty legitimate. Now from what you can see on the screen, there are some 3D models released of the Shadow Fight 3 assets, and I can't wait to show you guys what these look like. So over here in the first one, we have the Dynasty Guard. Now let me just play this 3D animation to show you what the stance looks like. Pretty basic, but it's also pretty neat, isn't it? Now let me put the animation speed to half the speed and let you take a look at it again. The animations seem pretty smooth to me, doesn't it? You can also choose to view this in virtual reality if you have any compatible headsets or PCs, but I don't, so we'll just be staying on this webpage for now. Now this 3D model looks pretty impressive. Here is a 360-degree view of the 3D model. The detailing on this is pretty good too. Now if we zoom in all the way, we can see some really fine details such as the patterns on the helmet and the patterns on the armor. Now the thing that came with this also includes annotations, and we'll be going through that shortly. But another view that you can have in this webpage is the first person view, and using this view you use the mouse to look around and the arrow keys to zoom. So let's say I would like to zoom in on the face over here. The details are really pretty impressive. If I say so myself, I can't wait for this game to come out. Just a few more snapshots of the model. Now the hand looks a little weird there, but I'm sure they'll iron things out. And in the actual gameplay you wouldn't be able to realize the difference anyway. Wow, this looks really good to me. I can't wait. Alright, so another thing that I mentioned was present in these models are the annotations. Let me just view that one more time again because I'm so excited to see these different models in actions. Now the different models that are available in this will be gone through later on, but for the Dynasty Guard, let's take a look at the annotations. Over here, it has an annotation for the Dynasty Guard's armor. It says, the Dynasty Guard's armor looks rich, but it also has all the qualities of light and durable attire that meets the Guard's fighting style. Its breastplate is ornamented with a white lotus, symbol of nobility and purity. The second annotation is that of the heavy greaves. The heavy greaves and steel toes of the Guard's boots help to make stronger kicks, which can be quite deadly when performed masterfully by a Dynasty warrior. Now this means that unarmed combat will still be a major factor in Shadow Fight 3, which is good to hear because I am a player that likes to use unarmed combat quite a bit. The next annotation is the Guandao. The Guandao is the traditional weapon of the Imperial Guards. It is heavy but fast both in attack and in defense, so it is actually just a staff with a knife attached to the end, and in Shadow Fight 2 some of you may recognize this as the Naginata. Now the Guandao is also a reference to the weapon used by 三国演义 or Romance of Three Kingdoms Guan Yu, who also has a Guandao, and the Guandao looks something like this. So back to the Dynasty Guard, the last annotation is the Guard's Helm, which is adorned with a white horse tail and traditional traceries that rim the warrior's face. This open-type headgear is generally purposed for patrol tasks in the capital and the palace area. Wow, so it seems like we have a kingdom over here where these guards are just the so-called troopers that will parade around the area. Now the dynasty is a concept that largely draws inspiration from China, so I suppose that this game would be heavily revolved around China's dynasties or the struggles in the Chinese region. So overall, I think this model looks really impressive and I cannot wait to see it in action. If you want to check this out, I'll put a link out in the description below. Another way you can look at this is the static pose, but that's not as interesting. It's just a guard standing to attention over here, and there are other rendering options, but those are not as interesting, if I say so myself. Alright, for the next one we have an Ironbeaks Adept, which is also the staff pick, so I suppose they're pretty proud of this model. Now let me just set the animation speed to half and turn off the annotations, which I forgot to do just now, and play this for you. So our Ironbeaks Adept is a katana user, and this animation looks really cool. Although I do not know why you would want to put the katana back into its sheath before a battle, but that's none of our concern. Let's turn the annotations back on and set the navigation to first person. Now let me just zoom in quickly to the face, and you can see the detailing on this is pretty good too. There's even the person's stubble over there. Whoops. So some really fine details as usual. This is some good quality stuff. But I think that they could work on the 3D aspects a little bit better. This area doesn't look too refined yet, but I suppose these are just prototypes yet and we cannot expect too much as of now. The 3D regions done here are pretty good too. Now this warrior has a more simple ninja-like look, and let's check out the annotations to see what they say of this warrior. The first annotation speaks of the cinder coat, which many believe that cinder coats are made of magic fabrics, which explains at least half of the Ironbeaks' perfection. But this is nothing but guesswork, excited by the armor's austere fashion contrasting the bright garments of the Celestials. So it does seem that there's another different faction over here, which is the Celestials, and there may be some form of divine intervention in this game, who knows. Moving on to the second annotation, it is the keen katana. The Ironbeaks have mastered wielding these blades to the perfection to prove their unique combat style being superior to those of the Celestials and the Heralds put together. So this means that the Adepts, or Ironbeaks, the Ironbeaks are at war with the Heralds or the Celestials. And it looks like the plot development is pretty good in Shadow Fight 3. I can't wait to see how this pans out in the real game. Now let's take a look at the static pose. And I suppose this is the static pose. So no difference over there, no worries either. Now moving on to the last one, which is the Legion Squad Commander. As usual, let me put the animation speed to half times and play it for you to see. Now we have a really fancy twirling by the Legion Squad Commander over here. And Let me just give you a 360-degree view of what that looks like. It's a pretty cool one, and it looks like this person uses heavy armor as well. Let's set the views to a first person mode and take a look at the detailing on this model. Details seem pretty good as well. Not too shabby it seems. And over here we have a little belt with a pouch, nothing much over there. And surprisingly, the entire face is covered except for a tiny eye slit over here. So I'm guessing that the Legion squad commanders would be heavy armor fighters. Over here is a huge sword, but that sword looks like it has some cracks in it. Let me just zoom in properly, and it seems blood-stained as well, so these guys are probably battle hardened. Let's take a look at the annotations. The first annotation speaks of the Bedrock armor. Bedrock armor with its typical heavy pauldrons and leather straps is the most powerful armor type among the Legion squad's leaders. Sorry, that was a tongue twister. It is the most popular armor type among the Legion's squad leaders. So the Legion looks like it separates its troops into different ranks, and the commander should be a higher ranked individual. Moving on to the next annotation, it is the Bloodletter's blade, and the red mark on the Bloodletter's blade signifies the legionary's status and the number of campaigns he or she has partaken in. So, as I've said before, the Bloodstained blade shows that they are battle hardened, and according to this annotation, it is also an indication of how experienced they are. But I suppose that isn't such a great detail or a great importance to the storyline. And the last annotation is the Bedrock helm. The close-visored, iron-crested Bedrock helm provides the legionary with perfect protection from any blow an enemy can deal. Colored markings may vary depending on the unit that the helmet wearer has under his or her command. So this confirms our suspicions that the Legion squad is a group of heavy fighters. Now, of these three different models, I would say that my favorite one would be the Dynasty Guard. Because of the detailing and the type of weapon that it uses, it looks the most versatile out of the three. And there seems to be a good balance between defense and offense. Hold on, let me just get this view sorted out. It seems like there's a good balance between defense and offense because we observe that there is a helm on this player or this character, and the armor looks pretty heavy too, so it does not compromise on both offense and defense. A balanced player like me would like that more. The Iron Beaks would appear to be more ninja style warriors, and the armor on this is fairly light. You can also see that the helmet does not cover the entire head and leaves the top part exposed. The armor padding on the main character's body is also a little more skimpy, but this provides more mobility and allows quick action with the katana. The Legion squad commander is a heavy armor fighter, and this is emphasized by his helmet and his armor. The use of this sword, which looks like a claymore, will also confirm that it is a slower mover, but it can probably take more hits. Now, this is all just speculation on my part, but if we could choose from these three different characters, I would definitely go with the Dynasty Guard. Let me know what characters you would like to take in the cards. I'll put it up somewhere in the top right corner. So that brings us to the end of the video. We've taken a look at Necky's 3D Forge on Sketchfab, and we've seen some leaked details of Shadow Fight 3, which is super exciting. Now, it is just speculation on my part, but I think that they are going to release it around December or early January, because I'm not sure about the seasons in America now, but fall seems to be passing pretty soon, so who knows. But I believe they are trying to smooth out any bugs that may be in Shadow Fight 3. They want it to be as perfect as possible, and from what I can tell, they have really put in a lot of effort to the 3D modeling on the game. So I'm looking forward to what Neki has to offer us. If you're interested, you can check out their Sketchfab by yourself and look into more detail for these different models. But that's it from me for now. Do remember to subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed already, and you can also check out my Instagram page for more interesting details. At the end credits of the video, you would be able to click the top left hand corner for access to my subscription buttons and my Instagram page. So I look forward to having you join us in the family of MapleStorians. Now rest assured that I have not forgotten about Hoxen and his battles, and I have been working very hard to juggle my studies and this game to bring you the content as soon as I can. However, I have been playing the game quite a bit, and sadly every time I encounter some teammates who cannot pull their weight and will end up burdening the whole team, so there's been some trouble getting my next done. But rest assured, I'll work as hard as possible to do that. Another consequence of them not being able to deal enough damage would be that I cannot get my boss tokens. So currently I'm stuck at Vortex and I can't even get a Phantom token, much less the Arcos or Hoxen token. So I seek your understanding in knowing that I've been working very hard to bring you the content, and I'll try and get it out as soon as possible. Alright then, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to this channel if you like my content. I'll see you guys soon in the next videos. Peace out.